I'm spinning this wheel, and wherever it lands, I have to go. Because Ryan Trahan challenged me
Yeah, I'm in this video too, don't question it.
to visit 10 random countries in 10 days to prove I have what it takes to be a real tourist. It's officially day 10, and we've already visited Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Poland, Denmark, Sweden, the UK, France, and Spain. Let's see where I'm going next. So we officially made it to Portugal, the last country of our challenge, and we cannot leave this country until Leo and I complete 3 tasks.
Number 1, you gotta find the coolest souvenir you possibly can. Number 2, you have to eat a traditional food. And number 3, you must visit a famous landmark. Good luck!
But we've only got 24 hours left, so let's head into Lisbon to find a souvenir. So to kick things off in Portugal, we figured we'd start our hunt for a souvenir the most Portuguese way possible, by hopping on the famous Tram 28. The only problem, apparently everyone else in Lisbon had the same idea. The line was insane. It wrapped all the way around the block, and every time a tram pulled up, it was already packed. We must have watched like 10 of them go by before we finally squeezed our way onto one. And when we managed to hop on, it was cramped. Like no personal space whatsoever. But once it started moving, it kind of felt cozy. At one point, our driver pointed out this old church and casually mentioned that one of the chapels inside is decorated with real human skulls and bones. So yeah, that's definitely not the kind of souvenir we're looking for. After about 30 minutes, we hopped off right in the middle of downtown and stumbled across a store without a name. Like literally, there's no sign, no logo, nothing. Just an open door with a bunch of stuff inside. So obviously we went in, and honestly, it was kind of awesome. There were shelves full of random souvenirs, little tram figurines, mugs, basically the usual tourist stuff. Apparently Portugal, and especially Lisbon, is famous for these hand-painted tiles. You can see them everywhere, on walls, on buildings, even on random doorways. Every single one's different and really weirdly satisfying to look at. So when we found this one, I felt like it was the perfect souvenir. So that means task 1 is officially complete. With another souvenir locked in, we are feeling like real tourists, but our stomachs are growling, so we need to find food fast if we don't want Ryan to get mad. And just down the street, we stumble across this massive glass building, the Oceanário de Lisboa. Everyone kept telling us Portuguese cuisine is big on seafood, so we figured this might point us in the right direction. We walked through the whole thing in like 45 minutes tops. Still, I can't lie, it was pretty cool. There were these giant glass walls where sharks just glide right in front of you, and it's kind of surreal. They also had some penguins waddling around and a bunch of jellyfish floating everywhere, kind of like the ones we saw back in Spain. But after a while, it started hitting us that none of this stuff was actually food. We're standing there starving, watching fish swim around, and it just made us hungrier, and also a little guilty, honestly. So we cut our visit short and went back into the city to find the real deal. And later on, we came across this restaurant, Drogaria, which apparently meant drugstore. Bit of a weird name for a restaurant, but it had 4 different Michelin star awards, so it seemed to be the perfect place for what we were looking for. Cozido à Portuguesa. It's basically Portugal's national stew. Back in the day, farmers would just toss all their leftover meats and vegetables into one pot, let it simmer for hours, and somehow it turned into this dish that eventually became a national classic. But when it came out, it wasn't quite what I expected. These just looked like gyozas draped in some seaweed and dirty water. But does it taste any good? Let's take our first bite. It was honestly really good. It reminded us a lot of the pierogi we tried in Poland, but I think I would have to say I like this a whole lot more. So that means task 2 is officially complete. So here's the thing, that cozoto we ordered earlier, turns out it wasn't even a proper meal. It was actually just a starter, which meant by the time we hit the streets again, we were still pretty hungry. And as we're headed out to track down our final landmark, we spot something we haven't seen in almost 10 days. The Golden Arches, McDonald's. At this point, it just feels right. We've been away from the States a while now, hopping through 9 different countries, trying everything from Swedish meatballs to French ratatouille to British fish and chips. But now, we just want something that feels like home. So we cave. The menus are different here, but we keep it simple. A cheeseburger and a McFlurry. And I'm not even kidding, that cheeseburger, better than the fish and chips back in London. It doesn't take long though before we're back on our feet, strolling through Lisbon streets, bellies finally satisfied, and that's when we see it. The Lisbon Cathedral. This place is ancient, built way back in the 1100s. It survived fires, multiple earthquakes, and countless restorations, but it's still standing strong. We started this trip in Italy at St. Peter's Basilica, one of the most famous churches in the world, and now ending in Portugal with another cathedral that stood for nearly 1,000 years. It just feels right. And just like that, task 3 is officially complete. It's crazy to think that 10 days ago, I had never traveled anywhere in my entire life. And then Ryan Trahan challenged me to visit 10 random countries in 10 days to prove I have what it takes to be a real tourist. And I think now I finally get what that means. It's not about seeing every landmark or taking the perfect photos. It's about the weird moments, the stuff that doesn't go as planned, the people you meet, the food that makes you almost throw up, and the ones that totally surprise you. It's all about being there. So if you've watched all the way through, thank you. This trip has been wild, and if you want to see where we're going next, make sure to subscribe, because this might have been the last stop for now, but it's definitely not the end of the journey. See you guys soon.